All the world is a stage. All the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And many in their time play many parts. These acts being different ages. So when the lights go out, the bows ensue and the curtain closes, where do they go to play next?
My inspiration to get into acting came from my love for reading.
I loved acting for a long time, but I never did get into it because of the drinking. And when I did stop partying like I used to, I say, well, let me get something to pass the time away.
I just loved watching film, and it wasn't necessarily like these are actors. It was like so impressed with the work that they must have had to put in to portray these characters.
Passion. I just fell in love with it since I was a kid. My mom grew me up listening to Broadway when I was younger.
Even when there were times where I have pulled out of not doing performing and not doing acting and theatrical things, but I always, I go away for a month or so and then I'm like, I've got to get back involved with something. I need, so it's just something in me that pushes me to perform and be on stage and be connected to theater. So it's part of my living.
And I was a flower in a play, and I sang a song by Shirley Temple, and everybody applauded, and I just fell in love with the applause and the presentation of being the flower.
The reason I get into acting is just I want to get out of my comfort zone. The acting class I took break those barriers and open me up a little bit better, and I'm no longer shy.
When I got to college, I was in a bit of a standstill. Didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. So I took an acting one class just to kind of try it out. And just from there, I was just hooked.
There is a change in the weather. A new day rises where different types, colors are seen.
My inspiration to become a real working actor was when I chose to become an actor in college and put my own money into the development of my future.
Once I got on stage and started doing theater, then I felt it. And you know, sometimes other people can get up on that stage and they just don't feel it, but like I got up there and it just clicked and I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do.
I went to art schools when I was younger. In elementary school, I was in Rainbow Park, North Center for the Arts. Junior high school, I was in another arts program, the Performing and Visual Arts Center. Graduated from New World School of the Arts. It's always been on my track to be an actor. There's never a time when I thought in my life that I would not be an actor, even when everyone else said that I would be a lawyer or a politician or anything else. My goal was to be an actor because I like telling stories and I like seeing myself and people that look like me represented in entertainment.
Likely my experiences in high school, because that was what transitioned me into the technical side of theater as opposed to focusing so much on acting, which was actually refreshing, and learning the ins and outs of how a production is actually built from the foundation up as opposed to just coming in as a cast member makes a difference. You know how it's built and then you approach every show a little bit differently because you know all of the work that goes into it.
My favorite acting role was in community college. Kimberly Vergalis in Patient A by Lee Blessing. It was a beautiful story at Gulf Coast Community College. The process was amazing. We met so many people in the community that needed that story to be told.
Wow, now that is a tough question. I pretty much have enjoyed all of the things that I have done. But I think my favorite might have to be the role of Memphis in The Life.
So if I have to be picky, it will be 121st Street, old, I think it was Stephen Adji Gurgis film, play that we did in Ground Up and Rising, and I played Sonia. And it was comedy, and I loved it. And I had fun. It's a small role, but there's no such thing as small roles. Small roles do stand out.
Recently, I just performed one of my bucket list roles, which was Inga in Young Frankenstein. Not a lot of people know that, but it was challenging to me to teach myself how to yodel. And I was really happy that I was able to accomplish that and add that to the resume.
Oh, wow. I've had quite a few of them, but my most favorite was, one of my first was doing Penworthy in A Tomb with a View, to play A Tomb with a View. I've played a detective and I enjoyed it so much.
Actors are creatures of habit. They learn their lines, play their part, seek affirmation, and move on to the next role. All in all, in an effort to embody various characters, various emotions.
I would like to do some Greek drama. I love Euripides. I would like to do Medea. She's always been a dream role because of the high emotion that's portrayed within the story. I would just love to do Medea.
I got the opportunity to play Mr. Black in The Wild Party, which is one of my favorite musicals of all time, music by Andrew Lippa. And it was a challenge for me. Musically, the acting, the vocal range that I had to have and prepare for, that was probably my favorite role of all time, for sure.
I don't want to say any dream roles, just really anything that I can just dig my nails into and really just go as hard as possible. I mean, I'm trying to think now that you say that. I don't know. I think I'm taking anything that just comes my way, just taking it with an open mind and just hopefully seeing it all come to fruition.
Some will say it is a hobby. Others say it is their livelihood, like plumbers, accountants, salespeople. Actors sell themselves on stage, on screen, just to let you know not who they are. If they don't sell you on who they aren't, then it is not real.
I think I always kind of had the hope throughout the pandemic that things would go back to what we consider normal, at least from the standpoints of, being in close proximity for rehearsals and production and things like that. But I was lucky enough to be able to participate in some digital projects during that time. So it still kind of felt like I wasn't giving anything up.
A lot of my classes got moved to Zoom, and it was kind of complicated, and sometimes the music wouldn't match up, or a kid wouldn't understand what you're saying, and you have to say it again, and it was very complicated, and it was a little frustrating, but I never not wanted to do what I'm doing. However, luckily enough, I got called to go to LA during that, so I lived in LA for 2 years and did the acting scene down there as well.
My crossroad has been beyond that because I have been on my own for such a long time with barely financial support from family and friends. So it's a lot of struggling throughout the years. But during the pandemic, it does want me to expand more than just acting and in processing creativity. So I want to pursue to do my own stuff. Starting to write. Okay. I'm starting to write my own plays and scripts. And probably in later time, I might direct my own stuff.
I do have another career, which is as a property and casualty insurance agent. That's my day job in my family business with my dad. But the pandemic made me realize that the arts are even more important, and pursuing the creation of art is even more important now during the pandemic and thereafter, because the arts are a coping tool. Acting is cathartic for the audience. When I get up there and I act and I tell a story, the audience is up there with me too, going through the emotions of the story. And when I release, or when I get upset, or when I get happy, the audience, prayerfully, if they're with my performance, they get happy, they get upset, they also release. So it reinvigorated my commitment to the arts during the pandemic, because we need the arts now more than any other time.
Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness. Our inner infants bursting with exploration.
My advice is for all the artists is to always create, to never stop creating. If you feel that you need to say something, say it. Never be silenced. Always do it.
You have to enjoy what you're doing. That's the first part. Number two, you're gonna have rejection, a lot of it. But once you get it, don't give up. Continue and love what you're doing. Because of the love, you continue to go on. Pick yourself up and keep going.
Soak in all the information that you get from your teachers, from your peers, from all the shows you do and all the mistakes you make, and soak up all of it. And then when you get in front of that camera or on that stage, throw it out the window.
Do your homework. Find out what kind of actor you want to be, find out what kind of material and content you want to put out there, and where your fortes are. If it's in comedy or in drama, just kind of figure out what that is and focus in on it, because the more focus you have and the more fixated you are on it, the more you perfect your craft. And to that respect, I would also say never stop learning.
Perform as often as you can. Perform at churches, at libraries, at breakfasts, at lunch. Volunteer services to perform until you become a professional, until you become sought after. Perform every opportunity that you have. Audition, get out there, put yourself in front of people who are making decisions about theater, about film, about television, about acting. Put yourself in front of those people so they can see you, so that you can get pointers, so that you'll know what direction you need to go in, what's working, what's not working, as often as you can. That is the way to sharpen your skills.
Don't give up. Throughout the years, you're gonna have your high points and your low points. One day you might break down and cry, but you have to pick yourself up and saying, this is what you want. I know there's formalities, but you know, formalities are formalities, but you could break your own rules and follow your own rules. I'm encouraging you, if this is what you want, go for it. There's no limits.
It has to be a need. You have to go into it saying that I need to do this. I need to express myself. I need to put myself in situations that are new and a bit uneasy, and I need to find out if I can handle it, and I need to find out more about myself. I mean, I don't think you come into a profession like acting thinking it's gonna be, you know, all sweet or like, you know, like a hobby or something like that, because there's no, you know, you can have fun with it and, you know, you the craft and the passion, but there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of turmoil that comes with it, and you have to, you know, you have to see it through. So, you know, you really have to love it. You really have to crave to want to do this. You really have to have your sight set on where you want to get, and you have to work towards it.
If you prick them, do they not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not seek satisfaction?
If you can't climb a mountain, then climb a hill. That's much better than standing still. There's a way if you've got the will, when little by little you're there. Good things that are here to stay don't get done in just one day. Once you start, you're on your way. So keep on going. If you can't draw a million, don't draw a blank. Just keep filling your piggy bank. You'll have only yourself to thank when little by little you're there.
Actors are people, just like you.
It's been a long time since I felt right, and this crazy life is spinning me around. And it's a long road up ahead, so I gotta let go of what's weighing me down. When your heart is filled with doubt and your fire is going out, we could turn it all around. We could flip the whole world upside down. This is our place, this is our time. What are you doing